Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, we are making a little diorama of two sleeping dragons for my boys' rooms. As you may know, I went through and I batched a few videos just before my baby came so that I could take a little bit of time off from YouTube and focus on being a family of four. And at the time of filming, I am 37 weeks, which means I am full term. And so this is my last installment of those batched videos. A huge goal that I have had with all of these batch videos is I wanted to spend as little money as possible leading up to the birth of my child. So a lot of those things I have kind of been gathering and recycling, with the exception of the frame, which I did buy. It was $10. And these little dragon figurines that I got on Amazon, which is what inspired this entire project. And then we were given a card, and the inside has this beautiful star scene. Originally, I had thought about just putting moss all over the entire thing, but when I saw this, and I realized that this top part of the envelope fits perfectly in the scene, if I cut it here at the envelope, I was like, I have to do it. And the stars match the frame perfectly. So, and then for that three-dimensional shape, I found a box that we have, and I cut off one of the flaps. That's going to give us the 3D effect. I also have an itty bitty little bit of moss, which I hope will be enough for this project. So hopefully I don't have to run out and buy more of this. We will see. Without any further ado, let's hop straight on into it for a one-day make of a sleeping dragon diorama. So here is the envelope that we were given, and as you can see, the inside is this little starry pattern. And kind of the fun thing is that these stars perfectly match the frame without having to do anything to have them match. So it was just meant to be. And then, of course, the piece of cardboard that I cut off, don't tell hens. So looking at how this was going to go, we have the cardboard and the envelope with the moss and with the frame, and then, of course, the star of the show, the sleeping dragons. Using the original back of the frame, I measured out the size that I would need for the cardboard, and then using a box cutter, I cut it out. This was pretty easy, and I'm so glad that someone told me to use a box cutter like over a year ago now, because before that I would use scissors and that was terrible. Then I cut the top half of this card off. The sizing was perfect because the curve, you can see the white at the top where the glue for the envelope goes. It was the perfect size, so it was really just meant to be. Then you can see I was kind of futzing around a little bit, figuring out how I wanted things to look. And it was because of this I decided I wanted the dragons to be at an angle. And so I had to figure out how to do that. And again, because I was not spending money, I went scrounging for things that I had. And I ended up finding this toilet paper roll. And folding it in half, I decided that yes, I do like how it was angled. So I cut off just a little piece so that it would be a little more hidden, because my concern was the bottom half of the frame where the toilet paper roll wouldn't be. But once I decided that it would do its job, I grabbed the hot glue gun and I hot glued one end of the toilet paper roll so that it would be angled and keep its shape. Then I rolled up a paper towel and I stuck it into the roll just to help it keep its shape a little bit because of the weight of the dragons. From there, it's time to start soft assembling, so I figured out where I wanted my toilet paper roll to go, as well as where I wanted the night sky to be. This involved cutting off the white glue part and again being really impressed with just the angle of how well it all fit. I'm super happy with it. In case any of the cardboard stuck through the moss, I went through with a coat of green paint. This is the color of the grass that I did for the painted curtains a few videos ago, just so that the cardboard wouldn't be seen. I also went into this white paper towel here because white would stick out like a sore thumb. And then I genuinely cannot remember if I used a hairdryer or not. I think we might have run errands, but I really quickly went through and made sure that everything was mostly dry with paper towel since I was doing this in one day. And once it passed the good enough check, it was time to start assembling.
Using my background as a guide, I cut out the angle for the stars, and once that was cut, I could just start hot gluing everything. And something I forgot until doing this voiceover was the fact that I had broken my hot glue gun during this project. So I'm going to need to figure that out before my next project where I have hot glue. Because I didn't want the moss to be covering the dragons, I went through with this green marker and I marked where the dragons covered my toilet paper roll so that the moss would be under them, so I could just place them on top and actually connect them directly to the toilet paper roll rather than trying to hot glue them to the moss. Then came the fun part of hot gluing all of the moss to the cardboard. People in the craft community seem to have a love-hate relationship with moss. Either you love it or you hate it. I am a big moss person. I would put it all over everything if I could. So please just enjoy this really satisfying video. Figured out with a little bit of manhandling that I could get the frame in with the cardboard, and that worked out great because really what the problem was that the original backing had a magnet. And once I had the frame on, I went with some moss just to make it look like the moss was growing over the frame a little bit so it didn't look too contained to the window to the other world, but rather was coming into this world as well. And silly me, this is where I thought I was going to be done until Hens told me that the bottom looked really barren and it needed some magical mushrooms. And so I grabbed these mushrooms that I had been given. I think they're from Dollar Tree originally. Hens got them for me right around Christmas because he thought that they were whimsical and that they would come in handy. And then I actually used the color palette that I had done for the fox painting, the paint by number that I posted before any of my batch videos, because that's what I got the frame from. And so I used these colors for the mushrooms because they just fit the vibe so perfectly. So of course I had to stay on theme with that. So I went through and I painted all the mushrooms. As you can see, I am growing as a crafter because I used the toilet paper roll that I had previously used in this video for the stand for the dragons as the holder for the mushrooms with a little bit of blue goo, just so that I didn't get my fingerprints all over them, and it worked fantastic. Then I went through and once they were dry, I hot glued them to the bottom, and it was so right because it really did fill in the space and it looked so cute with the little mushrooms of all different shades but are also satisfying. And then Owen really wanted to paint his own mushroom, so it's currently in our master bathroom because of course I'm going to hang on to it. And while he was doing that, I wrote just a quick note to my boys on the back of the frame. It had the date that I made this project and then just a simple note telling my boys that I love them so much. And with that, that takes us to the reveal. don't have an outro for this video because I ended up having Arthur about 2 days after I filmed this, and I had not gotten around to making an outro yet. So thank you so much for being here. This is my last batch video. I'll be back to my normal uploads where I'm actually like doing them live this next upload, so in 2 weeks from now, and I will be seeing you then. Thank you so much for being here. Toodles!